support polygamy?
No, not on polygamy. Marriage. Would you support your wife like equally?
Wives, definitely. Wacha nikwambie, unaweza. Now that is where we need to go. You see, we denied boy child education. My age mate boy child was left out because I remember when I was young, they were still saying girl child. Until now, they are still saying girl child.
How is that related to marriage?
No, a few organizations have come up. No, it's okay. A few organizations have come up to do the boy child. Now, remember, yes, but remember those boys that now have started getting that attention are still young boys. Now, in my age, these are the guys that are now going into weddings. They are my colleagues, my age mates. Now they are starting into weddings. But wako Mudhurwa, they cannot afford to marry you in a wedding. They're in Mudhurwa carrying gunias and trying to make a living every day, and you cannot agree to marry them. That's why I'm saying.
That is not about boy empowerment.
It's about what?
It's not really about boy empowerment. It also boils down to our family.
Go to KRA and tell me how many girls over boys are employed there. Go to county.
Well, all right.
You don't even count it.
All right, everybody.
You don't even do census.
That's how hot the topic is this morning. We're talking about polygamy, and it's so hot like that. We had the men on mandate, and the ladies have just joined us right now on Retake. If you join us, we're talking about polygamy. What are the effects? Are there any benefits to that? What are the negative effects? How does it affect the children and everybody that is involved in it? Remember, the hashtag is KTN Life and Style. Our social media platforms are at KTN Life_style for both Instagram and Twitter. KTN Life and Style for Facebook. 22840 is our text message number. Well, I've got the ladies here, so I will ask them to introduce themselves, beginning with my father's left.
Hi. My name is Jacqueline Mudhani Washira. I am a PR practitioner and I do digital strategizing.
Okay.
And I am also married and
You're
enjoying
married.
it. Yes.
All right. All right. Okay. And then close to me.
My name is Shiro. I'm not married. I'm single. And I do events.
You were saying it's not possible to make it with one wife, one husband thing?
For me, for right now, I don't mind a married man. He'll be able to take care of my needs. He'll be able to understand me. He will take me to my destiny.
Wow.
I feel like clapping. I feel like clapping for you. You're so generous.
And then to my right, the lady in the middle.
Hello, my name is Wakene Njoroge. I'm a thespian. So I'm in the film industry. I'm an actor, I'm a producer, and I've just started directing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about polygamy? Would you accept to be the first of many, or to be the second or the third where there is already an existing marriage?
If I was the first, then someone brought me a second person or a third person, I wouldn't accept that. But if I was the fourth one, but anyway,
what's the difference? What would be the difference? Being the fourth and being the first, what's the difference?
Actually, that was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. I'm the jealous type, so I really wouldn't do polygamy. Okay. Personally, I wouldn't do polygamy. I'm very needy. I tend to want my man there, to get to know what he's doing, what he's up to. And if I feel that in polygamy, if you're not really giving me the attention that I want, I mean, in a relationship, that is, if you're not really giving me the attention that I want, then that's not really a relationship. And I feel that in polygamy, I don't really think that you can give all the women the equal attention. I doubt it's possible.
All right.
I highly doubt.
From a woman's perspective. All right, go ahead.
First, my stand is I don't support polygamy. This is why, because it requires you to have multiple characters of yourself, because when you come to me, there's that version of you that I know. When you go to another person, you have to be who they intend you to be. So I think it's too much energy around, because you have to keep up with maybe what Nyambura likes or what Kamau is interested in you as a person, whereas if you go to Shiro or Njoroge, they know a different you. Okay. So I think it's not right. And even going back to the story of creation, God intended one man, one woman.
Gerald.
Oh. That's right. That's very right. I believe in that.
It's not actually right.
Why?
No one knows God's intention. If his
He's
intention,
already said it.
listen, if his intention was to have one wife or one woman, he would not have blessed King Solomon. He would not at all. He would not have. I mean,
you know, I think let's keep this about polygamy.
Okay.
Because when we go theologically, it will be very different.
Okay, me, I'm just getting it. That one point. That's the only one point I love referring to, because he's a blessed man and I want to admire him. But for the rest of the stories, I would say we don't know. We give people freedom.
As a man, is it possible? You know, she just said that for a man to relate with several women, he's got to have multiple character.
Yes.
Is that the case? Is it possible to have a consistent character and meet the needs of all the women that are coming in?
Yes, because if you've already decided to go into polygamy, that means your character is a real character. You are who you are. You've decided to tell them the truth. Now, the other character that you will have to put on is the fake character. When you hear someone saying, ladies love lies. They love when you lie to them, because you tell the truth, they will start throwing tantrums. They don't want you to tell them the truth. So they want you to tell them you're the only girl and then go get a mpango wa kando. And this is what is making our men to have mpango wa kando, because we are not giving them the freedom to go and do that which they desire to do, and also discuss about it, and also you tell them what you desire to do and they support you in doing it, because we are living in a free world whereby...
I think that's proof that polygamy is actually sanitizing infidelity. You know, so you actually, as a man, you feel it is okay because it is now marriage. It is official. It is an arrangement.
Yes.
So you're actually sanitizing infidelity.
Why is it infidelity? Why is it infidelity?
Because when you're with the first wife, by the time you're actually thinking of getting another woman, it starts off like, you know, there's an element of unfaithfulness, because faithfulness means total loyalty to yes.
No, that's being enslaved.
I'm going to throw something in there right now for the benefit of the people. In a place or in a setting where it is acceptable, in a place where either through the culture or the law accepts that the people can be polygamous, can marry more than one wife, is that still infidelity?
I would say this. Number one, by the time that it was starting, the first wife consents to it. You know, to consent to actually now being, you know what, the first among many. And I would once again say that we are coming from a place whereby it's a patriarchal society, where even women sometimes, they're suppressed, but they don't know that they're suppressed. They're okay with it. They're okay with the system, which is pro-man and all the man needs, but they're just okaying whatever things, because that's where we're coming from. But once you get to the point, and I will go back to what is the motive of marriage. If the motive of marriage is I have money so I can have this arrangement where I take care of a company of people called children, then that is an arrangement. But if the motive of marriage is companionship, is actually building up a family, is actually love, where you're actually faithful to this one particular individual, where you're growing something together, that now is the driving factor in your marriage, then you will see how faithfulness come into play, and how getting other people on the side based on, I feel like doing this. Because you will do that when maybe 5 years into the marriage, and then 8 years into the marriage, you're like, okay, wife number 3. And then 10 years into the marriage, wife number 4. And then so you go like that. And by the time that you're a grown-up man, now you're maybe in your 80s, you look back at the repercussions that has had on wife number 1, on the children of all wives, on all these other wives, and their politics in between. Because politics come into play where there's a competition of stuff.
Right. James, you know, and I want to ask this. Because some of the people who would get into a polygamous setting, Dan talks about the motive for marriage. There are those who believe that, you know, you marry a man, he thinks he marries because he wants to have children. Yeah. Is that a valid thing?
Well,
and so he feels like, look, if I have 5 wives, then my chances of having more children will be many. We talked about that on Monday, and then they think, you know, there's no need to have 3 children. There are those ones who used to have this kind of thinking like, you know, if you have 3 children, something might happen to one or the other. So the more children you have, the safer you are in terms of posterity. Is that a valid thinking?
No. Well, no. I would say this, that something has been accepted in different, probably in certain religions or different places, it doesn't mean that that thing is good. It doesn't mean that that thing is good. That something is being done by certain people to satisfy their desire, it doesn't mean that it is good. So children are good, and you can get children, even 100 children from one woman, probably, I don't know. But
From Uganda.
but if you decide like every year you are going to have one child, and you are married for 30 years, then you'll have 30 children. So you cannot say that it's because I want so many children that I'm getting married to another wife. You can still get 10 children from one wife.
Yeah.
So that is not a reason enough to hold ground for polygamy. So men who use that reason, they just hide lust.
Yes.
And they go to the same thing.
And it's about the quality, not the quantity of the family.
Why are you calling it
sometimes,
It's practical.
Why are you calling it last?
sometimes there are those ones who would say that, you know, because they could not have a child with the first wife, so they felt like they needed to have somebody else. Perhaps they might have a child.
Can I throw in a word?
Yeah.
Life gives us the opportunity to have a perspective and a perception. Marriage, when you get married, marriage is not built around children. There are people who have been married for years and they don't have children because it's a personal decision. And maybe there are others who, because of a certain condition, that they cannot be able to have children. You cannot condemn that, or rather, as a man, use that as ground for you to cheat. It is not, for me, it's not acceptable, and I would not encourage young men
Now,
out
this
there
is
to
not
do that.
this is not cheating in quotes. This man says because you cannot bear children, so he feels like if he could marry a second wife to bear him children, so he will remain with you, yes, but he also has a desire for children. Is that justifiable?
No. What do desires cause us to what does a desire lead you into? For instance, you see an item on the street and you know deep down you're not able to purchase that item. But because you desire, the next thing you do is steal. So polygamy is just a long route, or rather an excuse of cheating.
Now let me ask you, suppose you as the lady cannot get the child, and no, the man cannot get a child, and you as a woman want a child. What would you advise?
I believe we have facility in fertility centers. There's an option of IFV, where you get an implantation within you.
What happens in the rural areas? You guys, you're just talking about the urban. What about in the rural area where they do not understand any of that? So I've got this, let me say, there's this my village uncle over there, and he can't bear, and the wife desires to have children. They know nothing about fertility centers, and then they're just thinking in their traditional way, like, you know what, you get a baby and then we raise over here.
But you see, children are a product of love. They're a product of marriage. And as she said,
ideally, right? Ideally.
Not always.
Who are products of other things.
Yeah, they are also a product of infidelity and one-night stands and all that. But that is not the case here. So when you get married, you're getting married to a life partner. Then children are a product of that. So whether children are there or not, that is not the essence of the marriage. You're in that marriage because you love this person with the faults that they have, with the good and the bad and everything that they have. So whether they have children or not, that should not be a question.
And I will just add this. I will just add this, especially when it comes to children. We put a lot of emphasis on blood. I need to have a child who's my own blood. It's like as if you get into a marriage with a single parent, you will treat the child that single parent has in a lesser way. No. If you love that particular woman, or whether it's a single mother or a single father, and you should love that particular child as your own, whether they have your blood or not. So whether you cannot have, if you cannot have a child, your own blood, you can still adopt. You can still, there are other avenues. If your intention is to raise a child. So let's not put too much emphasis on, I need my bloodline, because you can get, we've seen people who adopt a child, and they grow and love that particular child. And that child grows up to actually do incredible.
Can I ask something?
I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. But I want to ask Shiro, something, because when we started, you said you wouldn't mind coming in, you know, for a man to take care of you.
Yeah.
Is that the reason women get into polygamous relation?
Today when I was driving myself to this place, before I wanted, the discussion was different. Then I felt like, why should I go and lie? I don't mind a married man. Because, of course, I've tested all the other men and they're all fake. Kenyans arise. Kenyans arise. We need, you know, men that are, you know, serious with these ladies. And we are going somewhere. But now, when you look at everything, you see this married man. I did not say polygamy is for many wives. Only one. At least to go willing, you know. So you can balance life. Even if I'm jealous type.
Do you want a real man or do you want?
I am saying, at least we can, two people can balance in life.
Yes.
Not three. It has to be two. You marry me as a second wife and that is it.
So
you know?
question is,
wait, I'm talking. So for me, because I know men are jokers, especially Kenyans,
is that true?
for me,
No, you're not. No, you're
I
not.
tested,
No,
I
you're
don't know,
not.
maybe.
No, you're not.
It's an
It's something
opinion,
that I've
but
observed. It's not like I've observed. And for real, for me right now, I would take a married man.
yes.
As long as I'm able to talk to him, I'm able to communicate. He will make me laugh and smile and take care of my children.
You will.
And I want to ask this because the reason I came here is because, you know, in the older days, it would be that women would come in because they need a man to take care of them physically. But currently, women have their own money.
Yes.
They have their own money. So why would they need the man? You know, is it that now they're looking for men for emotional upkeep? Or what would be the need, Gerald?
The reason why we get into marriage is not for financial reasons. The reason why we get to marriage is not for all those reasons, children and all that. We get there because
Thank you.
yeah,
It's not because it's coming, It's not because coming on board,
I agree. It's not because of children. It's not because of raising a home. Because after all, you leave the home and go.
Exactly.
And when you leave the wife, she can be married again. You leave the man, he can marry again the way he wants, and he can choose even to, you know, whatever he wants. So it's about living the reality with the opposite sex. What do you want? I want to build a house. Let's work together on it. What do you want? I want a child. Let me help you. What do you want? I want another. I want to try a different wife. Let me help you. Why do you want to help everything except to the wife?
Arrangement.
Yes,
Exactly. Arrangement, not much.
For another wife.
I
The
think
devil is alive.
you do arrangements and then you are like, you want another. Now, see, let me tell you why I said people are selfish. If they take you as the second wife, you don't mind.
Yes.
But you don't want the third wife because you want the second you to be the full stop. So you want to be the full stop. But you don't mind the first wife. Now, if you are the first wife, you don't want, would you allow them to get the second wife?
Let's
If you're the
move
first
on.
wife, I would want this answer. Would you allow them to get you if they were the first?
Okay.
No.
All right. What do you think would be the effect of polygamy on the woman? If the man has several women, what would be the effect eventually?
Definitely negligence of the wives and the children. Seriously, will that man really promise me that my children or our children will go to the to the private schools that I want? No, definitely not. We have 10 children to feed. We have 10 children to clothe. We have 10 children to, you know, all that. Will this man take care of my children and be there for my sons? Because my sons definitely need their father as a father figure. My daughters too.
Let's talk about a case where there are 3 wives, but these wives are not stay-at-home moms. They're working.
Okay.
How would that sit? Because maybe this woman is strong enough to take her children to a private school, but then there's another one there who's not that strong.
Then jealousy comes in. See, if I'm a working woman, like now I'm in the film industry, I have an income, then the other woman is a stay-at-home mom. So my children will go to good schools, Brightburn, Brightside and all that. In as much as my husband is chipping in, my children will be well off. more than definitely that other wife. So jealousy starts coming in because this other woman will start thinking, definitely this man is coming, is bringing me all the money, whereas that is not the case.
Right.
And also, same
Even
thing
for the children, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So it's just, I really don't see that relationship, the polygamy relationship, when that happens, the 3 wives, I don't see it going past the 5th year.
Even 50 is too many.
Excuse me. Can I
Too
talk?
many, right?
Can I talk?
All right, all right.
My dad, right now, he's late. He was married to 3 wives. Okay. And my mom was the Gashugwa, you know, the last wife. Yeah. And I'm telling you that Mzee, he took care of us equally. Even the will is equally. It doesn't matter whether you are married or not.
Yes.
So those wazirs used to do it so well. I don't even know. And we never used to fight. You're here, that house has this. And my mzee, my dad, used to, like, when you're building our home, he would build us the same home, like the same structure, so that you don't complain the first wife had a better house than the other one. So I would rather say there are men that are wise like my dad. And he managed.
I commend him. Yeah.
And
Right.
I
commend him. I commend him.
What about the? What about apart from just the provision of the physical things?
Oh yeah, we
what
missed
about
out on something.
time?
Exactly.
We missed out
What
on something.
about time? Yeah. What about, you know, spending time with one another, the emotional connection? What about that?
We were lucky because my mom was the last wife, so dad would be in the house most of the time. But because he was a very hard-working guy, we separated. We didn't have time for him. He didn't have time for us, you know.
So it still had effect. The one side,
for us,
there
girls,
was a benefit one side.
Yeah, for girls, we had an effect because we needed our dad there with us.
All right.
But he was a mzee who worked hard, you know.
So it's going past, you know, the provisions that are there, because now there
emotionally.
We can't raise the children over there, Gerald.
Yeah.
You still would support your polygamy?
True.
Yes,
True.
I still support polygamy. You see, this beautiful child here would not be here if the father did not marry the 3rd wife. You see, so we wouldn't be having her. So all the children born in a polygamy,
because I still disagree with the notion. I still disagree with the notion that for a child to be born, there has got to be married, because there's people who've been born out of wedlock, there's people who've been born out of rape, there's people who've been born for whatever reason, so that we can't justify that if this person was not married, this child would not be born.
I think I'll speak especially as men. We tend to think that our number one key functionality is provision. So we think as long as we can provide, we are good. Even to our wives, we abandon our wives. We are not there for them. But our wife complains, we are no longer close anymore. But you're telling her, you drive, the electricity is paid, what are you complaining? Other women are looking. So that's where we are wrong, because the number one need of human beings is companionship. That's why we go into relationships. Exactly. And so even the women who, I like the question that you're asking about the women who can actually finance themselves, and they find themselves emotionally attached to a married man. They regret, but they've already gone in too deep. So you wish that you could have this man to yourself, but you know very well that you can't, that you entered into a territory where another woman was there, and so you end up hurting. But you tell yourself, okay, I got myself into this mess, I'll keep on, because there is an ego that we have of saying, I made a mistake.
All right.
I think I'll say something on what my sister said here, and she was agreeing with polygamy only on the fact that their parent or their father built houses for the different wives, and they took good care of them. But one thing that was evident from this other side is that there's a need that needs to be addressed. A woman has a need that needs to be addressed. True. And depending on our personalities and different things. So one function that a man has to do in a marriage is to point and direct. And if you are not able to get quality time with your children, to be able to point and direct them, then that is a dysfunctional family. Now, the causes of polygamy, polygamy has caused dysfunctional families. And we cannot say that, oh, if they didn't marry many wives, these children will not be there. That's just a justification that has no basis. So all these children are there, but they come from a dysfunctional family, and we get so many things and a distorted, valueless society because of that. And the quality of life as well is low. So one function of a man is to point and direct, and if children don't get that, then it becomes a problem.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
The value of a man in a woman's life is very important. Hence, if you tend to bring for me another woman, you are actually encouraging competition. And what does competition do between ladies? It causes jealousy, and most times it even messes with your self-esteem, your ego. It either goes down or it shoots up. When it shoots up, the chances of you'll start testing the waters. Secondly, your regard to men will be, you've had the notion of what is normally said about men. So polygamy was there in the past, and we normally we are a product of our past, but we determine our future. So simply because our forefathers did it does not mean that we have to do it. So for me as a woman, I think if my man practiced polygamy, one thing I know is there's nothing as dangerous as a woman who has identified her value.
So where are these meant to marry?
Gerald, I want to ask, I want to ask this. In a case where, just trying to get a thought, when women are in such a relationship and then they feel that their needs emotionally are not being met, don't you think that the chances of these women now beginning to seek attention from elsewhere is also high, so that we're going to have a spiral effect from one action here, so this woman fails, this man comes in once a month, so in the meantime then you also get somebody else.
It happens.
And that is why we said when you do all these things in the open, you don't have to do all that, because you have arrangements, you know how exactly you deal with the women. Let me tell you, you have wives. When you have wives, listen, not all men have the same weaknesses. Some men can be able to sustain even 3, 4, 5 women and
from the point of the
them
man,
emotionally and
Gerald, from the point, I may think that I'm meeting the emotional needs of my wife, but I think she's the only person who can tell, whether I am there.
Yes.
Where the woman does not feel that even when I am present we are connected, don't you think that then it can begin to open up other avenues, because even though they are here sheltered, they feel neglected?
So if such avenues come, there is what we call negotiation, discussions, and family. Trust me, if you decide to live together, we decided to live together as a man and a wife. 2, we can decide to live 3 in the same house and everything becomes nice, if only we can drop our selfishness. I was listening to someone, I don't remember who it was, but you know, you keep on saying my house, my children, my, everything is so selfish. It's my, it's all about you, my emotions, my feelings, my children, my life, my highs, my you know, my education. Come on, there are other people besides you. One day you live, life goes on.
I have a question for you. Would you agree polyandry in that you're my husband, but then I have 3 other husbands? Would you agree to that?
Definitely.
You would.
We have an listen. If these people are good people, listen. Let me tell you something.
What's
I don't
the
want
description or the definition of good people?
Of good people. Good people are people that you can sit, have a conversation with, and reach to an agreement without quarrels. Everything is good. Positivity. When you put positivity in everything,
so you're okay with me coming to your house once a month?
Not in my house once in a month.
Oh, you coming to my house?
We are married. We are in the same house. Like
3
my
men.
2 wives and me.
No, I'm talking about now the other way.
The other way.
I'm married to 3 men. You're one of the husbands. So you're all living in one house. We are all living in one house. Would you be okay with the 3 husbands then I'm coming to your bed or meeting your needs once a week, and then I'm going to the other husband's room and, you know.
Provided everything is explained, provided that, by the way, this is very genuine. This is genuine.
Wait, let me help my question. So you calling your wife, you say, I need to see you. Then she says, no, I'm not available because we're going out with Jeff. Then you call tomorrow again. And like, no, Jeff has planned a trip we're traveling to Mombasa.
Yes.
But this is supposed to be your wife.
Are you serious? It
Now,
doesn't
I
work.
want to tell you this. If Jeff and I are married to one woman, Jeff and I are also, we are also one thing. We are friends. We are close, right?
Actually,
Listen. We are close. But then, in the real human life, a man and a man together, like for companionship, is not possible, right? It's very difficult for a man and a man. The way, the physique, the way we are created.
Why?
I can answer you with some.
No.
Okay.
We have made the thing about the man.
Yeah.
It is right when it is the man.
The man doing it.
Yeah.
But when it is the woman doing it,
Then
it's
it's
a problem.
No, I'm saying this. If it is a man doing it and you guys are comfortable, because we said we want to give freedom. That's why we're looking for freedom. You want to do it? Let's discuss. Do you think it's okay with us? And if we agree and it becomes okay, and I agree with reasons, especially if I cannot bear children, and I need to give, I need to have.
Let me hear from Liz. You see, I asked a question when we were on the other side with Mandate, and the thinking that there's more women than there are men. Is that a justification for women coming into a polygamous relationship?
No, it's not.
It's not?
It's not.
But do they do
The only thing
do they do
is
it?
we don't have men to marry. I just said that.
Actually, statistics.
We don't have men to marry, but we are not many.
Yes. It's 1:1.
We are not many.
We've actually done, we've done the research.
Yeah, even I've done the research actually. Men are many.
No, it's 1:1. We've done the research before we came
me see
here.
a lot of men. But where are they? so that we can get married to them and start a family.
All right. We're just about to wind up. So let's talk about some of the dangers. Let's talk about some of the dangers of polygamy. Of course, we're talking about some effects, but I think it would be important, especially I'm thinking it would be important, just to enlighten. For example, if you have cases like women who have been neglected in that, so there is a lot of partners, multiple partners, and don't you think sicknesses can come in from certain angles?
Definitely.
And then now there's too many people who are involved over here. So if the man is sick, then the 4 wives are going to get sick.
And the sickness of the heart, which comes from, because yes, we can, if you want, you can do all these things and be very strategic and all, but you cannot heal. It takes a while to heal the sickness of the heart, where you feel hurt. And I would say this especially about men. We tend to get ourselves into problems by thinking that we know it, we know what you're doing, and also because of now our ego, we cannot go back. So we have to follow through. I made this decision, you know what, I cannot say that I wronged. And the worst part is that children now start to come into play. And we have people, I think we are a hurting generation, and the #1 reason why we are hurting is because of matters to do with relationships and marriages. That's the #1 reason why people are walking hurt and broken. And we tend to think that just because you came from a dysfunctional family or a polygamous family and you made it, we okay. We don't realize the amount of work that individual put emotionally to get themselves to a place whereby they are okay in terms of confidence, in terms of esteem, in terms of self-awareness. So you're okay. This person is from a polygamous family or a broken home. So it's okay. It happens. It works.
That's one of many.
And I would agree with my brother, because some of us who have come from polygamous families and we have succeeded, sometimes we tend to think that this worked for my father, it will work for me. But one thing that we forget is that if your father did not marry a second wife, probably you would have gone to another university in America. You will have more than enough money to go to school, you'll have basic needs, and you'll have all these other things. But just to come back to the question and to the subject that we are handling, especially on the effects of polygamy, that one of it is emotional instability, because you are not able to attend to all these personalities who are different and they require different things, and you're not able to attend to all of them. So that as well brings us back to dysfunctional families, which again affects the society, because we know that family is the basic unit of the society. Another thing, and this one is so sensitive, you never get to enjoy sex, because if you have multiple partners, you'll never enjoy sex with one partner.
I want to take the closing remarks right now, because we just have about 2 minutes to wind up. Your closing thoughts, each one of us, 30 seconds, your closing thoughts.
I respect those who support polygamous, but I would like to encourage you to come to this side of marriage, because marriage has a perception that the world has we make too much dirt on it. So for me, polygamous should not be encouraged because it is bringing too much dysfunctional and bitter people within the society. So I would like to continue engaging in this discussion as even as we enlighten more people on why marriage over one man, one woman works. Yes.
All right, Juro.
Me, I would say, please, let's not focus so much on our egos, selfishness, and about ourselves. Everything is not about you. There are other people. Provided you can make someone happy and you can make someone smile the next day, live every day as it comes. Stop being too rigid. I mean, you become too rigid, you're losing some things in life that you could have been exploring and experiencing. And then live a happy life and teach your children something good. Don't make them to be jealous as we are, so that we have a future generation that can take care of all these people equally.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Jackie. Closing thoughts.
Polygamy, for me, yeah, I'm for it because I find a man who is already married, someone who is mature and has grown to to understand what a woman needs. So for me, I know I'm a Christian. I'm saying this to the whole world. I know I will be pushed by everybody, but I think it's my stance. If I get a nice guy who is mature, who is able to come and embrace me, just make me smile.
Then you take
I'm
it.
good.
All
It's
right.
not about finances. It's not about finances.
All right.
Because I can take care of myself.
All right.
Thank you.
From Team Monogamy, yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Polygamy.
From Team Monogamy, what I can say is that polygamy is selfishness, and its source is lust. So, to raise functional families, let's avoid it at all costs, so that we are able to focus our energies to one person, love them, enjoy life, enjoy marriage, and just have a good life, because you don't want to divide your attention. And I will tell you one thing, for those who have been quoting different people who are polygamous and succeeded, I'll tell you one thing for free. They were not a standard of good marriage.
Let's share.
Yeah, if they married one wife,
Let's share.
they would have been presidents right now.
All right. Closing thoughts.
Okay.
Closing thoughts.
Yeah, sharing is caring.
The only positive thing about polygamy is coming out and telling your other partner that I'm having a relationship with so and so, and you have to be okay with it. That's the only positive thing, because then you're not cheating, you're not doing it hiding while hiding. Yes,
Exactly.
that is the only positive thing, because everything else is negative. We raise dysfunctional families, then women are getting neglected, that is the wives, the children are getting neglected, and only a few of those children. On my mom's side, my grandfather had 3 wives and 2 concubines. I will tell you for a fact, it wasn't a functional family.
Right.
And even to date, when you look at some of my relatives, it's not really a functional family.
Okay.
And they've carried it up to my cousins, their children.
Right.
It's not something that I'll advocate for, because I've seen the fruits.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 30 seconds, Dan.
To the single ladies, keep off married men. Married men look attractive. They look attractive because there's another woman working behind them. And if you argue that there are no single men to marry, perhaps you need to analyze the kind of men you give your attention to. And to the married men, marry your best friend and stay married to your best friend.
All right.
Good
That's
one.
all that we had the time for today. They still want to go.
I have to agree.
But keep the conversation going on Twitter. KTN Life and Style, that's the hashtag. So we still want to hear your thoughts. Remember, at KTN Life_Style for both Twitter and Instagram. KTN Life and Style for Facebook. 22840 text message number. Keep the conversation going. We're taking a break. Then Crystal Okusa will be here. But keep the thoughts coming on polygamy. All right.
Hapa hata ukilaunda kama ikutosha ikutoshi, kama ni kubwa ni kubwa. Kwanza this hour. You see now when you launder a suit here, una pipe iko free, inafaa kwa inakushika. When you button a suit, not launder, sorry. When you button a suit, it needs to be fitting you on the side like this.